He says, now this is really interesting. Are you ready for this? Okay. The strongest attitude to take is to regard these things as what they really are, incursions of dark forces from outside. Taking advantage of certain openings in the physical mind or the vital part, but not a real part of oneself or spontaneous creation in one's own nature. It's a really interesting attitude. Now, because you've been taught that everything comes from within. But he's saying take the attitude that we're letting these things come in from outside. It's like there's a mind pool. There's all the thoughts in the universe, and then you attract the thoughts that you attract, right, through your own process. And if you have a weakness, a certain vulnerability, like I am no good or something, then the whole lineup of those thoughts will whoosh right in. So they all come in at you through the weakness that you have. If you didn't have a weakness in the fabric of your mind, they wouldn't be pulled in. So actually they do come from outside in a sense. Because all those thoughts are out there waiting to be thunk. They're hovering. They are hovering. I'm a loser. No one loves me. I'm ugly. I'm too fat. I can't, not talented. I'm misunderstood. Whatever, They're all hovering. And all you have to do is have a little hole, little doorway open. Oh, let me let that in. And whoosh. Is it true? It's true. So it's a metaphor, yes, but it's also a useful one. He says, to create a confusion and darkness in the physical mind and to throw into it or awaken it mistaken ideas, dark thoughts, false impressions is a favorite method of these assailants. And if they can get the support of this mind from overconfidence in its own correctness or the natural rightness of its impressions and inferences, then they can have a field day until the true mind reasserts itself and blows the clouds away. So under certain conditions, you're blindsided, and they just come in and you believe them, and Another device of theirs, this is a good one too. You ready for this? Is to awake some hurt or rankling sense of grievance in the lower vital parts and keep them hurt or rankling as long as possible. In that case, one has to discover these openings in one's nature and learn to close them permanently to such attacks, or to throw out the intruders at once or as soon as possible. This is tearing thoughts, isn't it? It's very interesting. It reminds me in Shaivism, if you remember, that Shaivism talks about negative deities, goddesses of negative speech and negative thought. And this is exactly the same idea, that these negative deities attack you and they come in, and if you're vulnerable to them, then they'll eat you up. And then you go from weakness to weakness, that if you become vulnerable, then you start entertaining them, then it points out everything wrong in your whole life and goes back over your whole biography until you're inundated by it. So you have to move away from that. And one of the great methods that I was given by Baba and he recommended, say the mantra. It's simply don't say, I'm not going to allow this stream of negative mind enter here. Instead, I'm going to substitute something healthy like Om Namah Shivaya. I'm going to just gut it out and say this mantra. Whenever this stuff comes up, I'm going to say the mantra with the understanding that this will replace and uplift the mind. And this actually repairs the fabric of the mind. So he says, the recurrence is no proof of a fundamental incapacity. If one takes the right inner attitude, it can and will be overcome. It can and will be overcome. Reminds me of Patanjali. Patanjali says, what is it? Hayam Dukam Managatam, one of the sutras of Patanjali. The suffering that is to come can and should be avoided. I love it. The suffering that is to come can and should be avoided. I mean, can be avoided is good enough, but it should be avoided too. So to avoid the suffering in the future, what we have to do is repair this. Take the right attitude. One must have faith in the master of our life and works, even if for a long time he conceals himself, and then in his own right time he will reveal his presence. God, the self, the guru, the deity, the divine, the consciousness, however you conceive, know that there is a higher power, a higher self that is there, and that is your true nature, and that one day it will reveal itself inevitably. Just keep hacking away, even if you're not having that much success. Keep hacking, and one day it will reveal another aspect, another dimension of it. So he says, put your faith in the Guru and the guidance and rely on God for the fulfillment. Have faith in the truth of the self, the love and affection of the self, and stand firm against all attacks. Go forward perseveringly towards the spiritual goal and the all-fulfilling and all-satisfying touch of the all-blissful Lord. That's what he says. So have faith, keep up your practice, and don't keep looking at where you are. And know that at the end of that, eventually you wear out the ignorance. But you have to be tough. You like that?